Anytime you learn a new skill, you not only have to learn the terminology that goes with that new skill, but you also have to learn about the tools of the trade. And pattern making is no exception. Hi, my name is Margaret, and I want to welcome you back to Pattern Making Made Easy. In today's video, I'm going to share with you my favorite pattern making tools, supplies, and equipment. Now, if you're new to pattern making, you may be looking at all of these items and may feel a little overwhelmed, but I'm going to walk you through each item, what it's used for, and some things that you can interchange so that you don't have to purchase everything all at once. If you're not already a subscriber, I'd love to invite you to go ahead and hit that subscribe button now. Okay, so first thing we're going to need is some type of pattern to draft our pattern on. I like to use this see-through paper. It's about the weight of the paper that you find on a medical exam table, and you can see through it. So when you're transferring your markings, you're able to easily mark those. You can also use craft paper and the back of even gift wrap paper. You just want to make sure that whatever you choose is wide enough to accommodate the pattern that you're going to be making. Something that is optional but very helpful is going to be some clear invisible tape. Any brand will work. You're going to have something to draw your pattern out with. I always start with a pencil. I like the Dixon Ticonderoga pencils the best. They erase very cleanly and they hold up. The marks are nice and easy to read. It's just a good all-around pencil. If you don't already have a favorite, I would suggest giving these a try. You're going to need an eraser. We're going to be making a lot of marks. Then we'll be blending those marks together, and some marks will be temporary, so we'll want to erase those and get them out of our way after we're done using them. I like to have a variety of pen colors. My favorite right now is the Sharpie S-Gel pens, and I usually have black or blue, red, and green handy. I only move to using pen once I know that my pattern is complete and I want to make my permanent marks. Now, in most of my videos, you will see me using Sharpie markers. I usually use a thick one and then a couple of different fine point markers. These are fine to use once you know everything that you've marked is accurate. The only reason you'll see me using these throughout our videos is so that I can ensure that you're able to see the marks I make on the paper. A lot of times when I was using pencil, I got comments that viewers were unable to see the marks that I was making. Something to mark your fabric with. We will be creating muslins. That muslin is going to be what you use to fit your patterns. You can get chalk in a variety of options. This is a pen holder. Well, it's like a pen holder, but it holds your chalk. This, hopefully you guys can see that, makes a nice smooth mark. Let's show you down on the paper. And then I also like to use these easy washed out cloth markers. I have a set. It came with a variety of colors. These wash out really well from your fabric, so it's safe to use on your muslin or your finished fabric. And then of course a pencil sharpener. If you're going to use a big fat pencil, it's easy just to go ahead and grab a sharpener that has both a small and a large hole. So this is a Luna Graphics Seam Allowance Curve Pattern Draft Ruler. It is probably one of my favorite rulers. I grab it all the time. It is not a must-have, but I would say if you're ready to just save yourself a lot of time, make things easier, this is a great item to pick up, and it's not very expensive. The thing that I like about it is, you know, you've got your curves in it, you've got some straight edges in it, but the width of this entire ruler is 5/8. So that makes making adjustments really easy. It also makes adding your seam allowance to your pattern very easy. Now, if you're not sure what I mean by adding seam allowance, don't worry. We're going to cover that in a future video. So if you do not want to, if you're not ready to purchase a seam allowance ruler, I will show you how to use a regular seam gauge to mark your pattern pieces and to add your seam allowance in. So while we're talking about rulers, one that is very handy and it's close up there to being a must-have is going to be your hip curve ruler, and then of course your styling designer ruler. This has your arm curve in it and your hip curve in it. Very, very handy. This, I would really say it's a must-have if you're ready to start really drafting your own patterns and you want a good accurate fit and you want the least amount of frustration for yourself while you're drafting those patterns. I'm going to show you some things that you can use around the house until you're ready to invest in one, but these are very inexpensive online, and usually at local fabric and craft stores you can use a coupon on them and they come in a set. Then you're going to need some type of straight ruler. You can even use a yardstick. I like having a yardstick handy even though I have my other rulers, because this is great for drafting those really long lines. Think like a long skirt, long dress, or pair of pants. And then a straight ruler. There's really no way around it. I would suggest a see-through ruler. It's going to make everything easier. Absolutely must-have is going to be some type of measuring tape. Without a measuring tape, you're not going to be able to get accurate measurements, and without accurate measurements, your garments are not going to fit. Straight pins are very handy when we go to make our muslin, but you can also use straight pins to mark darts and a lot of other things. This is a pattern notcher, and I'll show you guys in a future video how to use this. You don't have to have it. There's a lot of things that I'll show you can use instead, but this is a handy little tool, and it just saves you time. A lot of these tools that I say are optional. They are going to give you more professional results in the end, and they're also going to save you time. For me, when I save time, that converts over to being able to create more patterns. A seam ripper. If you've done any type of sewing, you know a seam ripper is a must to have. So this isn't all, it's definitely optional, but it does make marking easier, especially when you're going through thicker paper and you're trying to mark darts and that type of stuff. The other thing is you're able to use these in conjunction with the holes that are on rulers and such. These are pattern weights. I have a lot of different pattern weights. My favorite are probably my big metal weights, but I have them actually over on another table holding down a new pattern I'm working on. So these are just some little pattern weights. They're great for holding down your paper while you're making markings or while you're getting ready to cut out. You are going to need scissors. You want to use just some regular craft scissors for cutting out your pattern. You're going to need some fabric scissors. You're going to need these for cutting out your muslin, and then whenever you cut out your final pattern onto your fabric. I like to use dressmaker shears, and as you spend more time sewing and creating patterns, you'll find a style and a size that works best for you. Last but not least is going to be our tracing wheels. So this is the tracing wheel that you'll find in most of your sewing kits. You can rub along it. It has no points to it. It's fine for when you're transferring markings, such as using like chalk paper, that type of stuff. But it's not as good for, in my opinion, when we're tracing things out onto our paper. We want to trace around edges. You'll see more as we get further along in these videos what I'm talking about. So this will work to get you started. But if you've not purchased one yet, I would suggest going ahead and getting one of these. It looks kind of like the spur on a boot. These are kind of sharp, but when you go to transfer markings or trace around things, I'm going to show you guys how to trace some of your favorite garments onto paper to create a pattern from them. This is going to be super handy. Also, because of the points, it goes further in through your paper to depress those marks that you're going to need. Then this one, you can see these are smooth and these are interchangeable, so you can change the width of these. If you're wanting like a 2-in-1 thing, so you've got, this is 5/8 wide, and then this marks your patterns. Well, you can set these so that they're 5/8 inches apart. You can use this to make your marks and to measure out your 5/8 seam allowance. So you would set it to 5/8, trace around your pattern. You would see those dots and draw them out. Again, once we get to the video on how to add a seam allowance, you'll see what I'm talking about. This is not labeled as a regular tracing wheel. This is the Clover double tracing wheel. You have 2 in here, but these come totally out. So you could move it down to just 1 and use it the same way you would this one. And these just fit back in really easy. So there you have it. Those are what I consider your must-have and some optional pattern making tools and supplies. As we go through the series, I will probably show you guys some other ones, but these are the things that you're going to want to consider if you've not yet purchased your tools or you're looking to make a few more purchases before getting started with our new Design Your Own Wardrobe series. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please be sure to give us a thumbs up. If you're not already a subscriber, hit the subscribe button. Down in the description, you're going to find a link to most of these products. You're also going to find a link to our website and a link to the blog post that goes into a lot more detail on how to use each of these products and multiple places to purchase them. We'd love if you'd connect with us. You can find us on most social media platforms under Pattern Making Made Easy.